Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, like, hey, what's up? I'm going to be doing a video on my septum piercing experience because I thought I'd let you know what happened during mine because it was a phenomenon. It was an experience. I'm not saying I wouldn't have had it done. I'm really happy that I had it done, and I love the way it looks, and I wouldn't go back and not have had this happen to me, but I'm just telling you, just to tell you really, because I don't even know. Maybe it's just to show you that you can do the most research ever. You can watch all the YouTube videos in the world. You can research every piercing studio in the city and find the best one, but still your piercing experience might not be the best in the world. Oh, also, I'm not obviously in front of my crazy cool wall with all the pages and stickers and literal physical books on it anymore because I've started my job and I've moved out to a different city, I guess town, and I don't have a funky wall anymore, so it's this white sheet. I don't know if I could spice it up. Maybe I could like pin some pictures here or something, but I don't know. I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, let me tell the story. So I was thinking about it all through high school, getting the piercing, but I kind of had all these authority figures like teachers and my parents and whatnot, kind of just going, if you get anything pierced or if you get anything tattooed, it's on your body forever and you'll regret it and it'll look ugly and you'll never get a job. And I kind of was like, oh god, oh my god, all these voices. Okay, I'm kind of scared, I'm not gonna get it. And so obviously I didn't get it done. But when I went to university, it was a whole different story because in September, after I'd finally gotten used to being where I was and whatnot, I thought, okay, yeah, now's the time. Nobody's gonna care. And then every time my parents will Skype me or whatnot, I'll just flip it up. I'm far away. They won't even have to know. So my friend Michaela and I both made a pact that we were gonna go together and get our noses pierced at the same time, and we'd hold each other's hands and we'd make it through together. So that was what we planned to do. We researched every single piercing place and we looked at all the reviews, we saw all their whatever sample pictures of piercings and looked at the prices and we found the best place. I'm not gonna name it. I think it was a Saturday morning, and I think I'd chosen to go that Saturday morning because that night we were going to a concert and I wanted to go and be like, yeah, everybody at this concert, look at my new piercing. Notice me. Doesn't it look great? Doesn't it look wonderful? Obviously nobody was going to notice my piercing, but I thought it was going to be super noticeable. And the concert was Hey Rosetta, so obviously nobody was going to be looking at me, but maybe Tim Baker would have been like, hey, look at that girl on the far extreme right. That thing looks banging, looks damn cool. You rock it, girl. And then he would have written a cool little harmonized, beautiful, so good acoustic song about my septum piercing. Who would? I don't know. It could have happened. It's him. So we got to the studio and everyone seemed lovely. The studio was clean and tidy and everything looked sterile and fresh and whatever. And we met, I gotta make a fake name, Charles. We met Charles and he was going to be the piercer. And so Charles took us to the desk cushy piercing table, and I was gonna go first because I volunteered because Michaela wanted to see how it was gonna go. Because I went first, she didn't get her piercing, so I wish she had gone first. But I have a fear of needles. I also have a fear of blood and anything medical. Anything that causes me pain, or if I smell blood, or if I even think too much about gore, I get a little wobbly, a little nauseous, a little fun on the inside, you know. And so I was mainly focusing on not dying. So I can't exactly remember the order of what happened. I'm gonna try. So okay, so I sat down on the table. Michaela was holding my hand and I was squeezing it super tight, just saying like, here we go, here we go. And he cleaned out my nose, found the sweet spot. We got to know each other real fast because he shoved his fingers right up there. And found the sweet spot, went back to the table, got his little tong things, held my nose in place, and off he went with this needle. And I closed my eyes, and honestly, for the first maybe 30 seconds, I was fine. And that's saying a lot because, oh god, the fact that I even was able to allow him to get this close to me with a giant, it's thicker than normal needle too, right? It's a big needle, so the fact that I allowed him to even start was a success for me. He got about halfway through, and then he started talking about how my septum was really tough to pierce, and my eyes were closed. What are you talking about? And he started saying how my septum was super thick. I don't know why I'm closing my eyes, but I'm just imagining. My septum was super thick compared to all the other septums he had ever pierced. Does that mean something's gonna go wrong? And he was acting like it was fine, so I assumed it was gonna be fine too. And it was fine until he started really forcing it through the middle of the cartilage. And he was putting like a lot of pressure to get it through. And I was just kind of sitting there thinking, oh my god, I'm really starting to get nauseous. This is kind of hurting a little bit. And I just think happy thoughts, squeezing this hand. And then this god awful pop happened. And it wasn't even like a pop, it was more like a crack. And it wasn't just audible to me, it was audible to Michaela too, who immediately made the sound of disgust, just ooh. And that set me off on this whole, I'm nauseous for sure, I'm going to throw up, please, oh. And he was even encouraging me, he's like, don't, you can do it, don't be afraid, we're gonna get through. And he finally got the big needle through, and he left me sitting there with this big honking thing just sticking out of my nose. And Michaela took a picture of me, and I was really trying to hold it together for the picture. Just, oh. But I was not having it. I felt so awful. So that happened. I was sitting there with the needle and trying not to throw up or puke or anything, as one does. And he turns around and he has the jewelry, and he says, all right, we're almost done. This has only been under 10 minutes, and we're almost through. I just gotta put this jewelry through. And I was sitting there, okay, honestly, it was a little gross and I feel a little awful, but this is definitely worth it. I'm definitely feeling this. I'm gonna walk out of here in about 5 minutes and feel great. So he started, I don't even remember how they put it through. Don't they like hook it onto the end and then pull it through and what? I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I remember he started trying to get the jewelry through, and then he really started talking about how thick my nose was. And I was sitting there and just asking him, is this going to be a problem? Is that okay? And he's trying to get it through and saying, no, it's going to be fine. I've done this a million times before. It's going to be fine. And after maybe, it wasn't in 5 minutes, it may have been after 10 minutes of just like jerking my nose around trying to get the jewelry through, he made this noise of just ugh, like pure frustration. And I was sitting there like, what is it? He said, I lost the jewelry. I don't know where I am in your nose because it's not coming out the other way. And I was sitting there like, there's a whole hoop right here. What are you talking about, Charles? And he said, I don't know if I'm going straight or not because it's going through, but it's not coming out the other side. And I was sitting there and just completely judging him at this point. I don't know, maybe it was just a freak accident, or maybe he actually did suck. I don't know. I'm not gonna name the studio, so alright, whatever. So he got lost in my nose, and he just, it turned so violent so fast because I'm already nauseous and I'm starting to turn into like I'm starting to get cold sweats, and I'm starting to really get dizzy because it hurts. There's blood trickling down from just it purely being aggravated by just roughly grabbing and shaking my nose and basically my head, my whole head. And so after 10 minutes, honestly 10 minutes of him doing this, I just say, Charles, you gotta stop, you gotta stop. And Michaela said to me afterwards, your grip was so tight, and then it just went, and I fainted, which was beautiful. I kind of went up to the side. I didn't like peer it like off. I just Charles had to grab me and lay me out sideways, and Michaela ran and got some water for me, and he took the cup and was like putting it on my head to cool me down and trying to resuscitate me and whatnot. I wasn't like out. I was kind of going, and so finally I was back and fully conscious, and I felt so awful. I was sweating all over the table. There was like an outline of me on the table. After maybe about 10 minutes of me lying there and finally gaining the strength to sit back up, he asked me if I wanted to continue, and it's like, damn straight I want to continue. I didn't go through all of this just to walk out of here in pain with a hole in my nose with no jewelry in it. Yeah, you're gonna do this. And so he said, all right, and we kept going. So basically what happened was the exact same thing occurred again. He was shaking my head, and this again went on for a long time. Just shaking and me trying to calm my stomach down and really get into a calm mental state. He was just trying to get it through when like really like putting his face so close to my nose. He's like, why isn't it going through? I don't understand. We pierced it all the way through and it's not working. And I was sitting there, I don't know, man, this is your job, not mine. I have no idea. One thing led to another, and I lost consciousness again, because what's a girl gonna do? Again, lying down the table, sweating all over the place. Beautiful, awesome, loved it. Trying not to puke. Honestly, the second time I was very close to actually puking. Thankfully I didn't. So I was lying there again. I don't know how long actually I was lying there for that time. But I remember when I felt almost okay again, he said the wrong thing. He said, did you check me out on my website? And I said, yes. And he said, well, did you check out my page where I hang people from the ceiling? Well, basically what I do in my spare time is I hang people who make appointments for this. Take these giant hooks from the ceiling and pierce it through like a couple inches of their back, and I levitate them off the ground with these hooks in their back, and I just, if I'm fainting because you're putting a little needle through my nose, don't tell me a story where you hang people from the ceiling with hooks in their back. And he told me that, and it was just all over again, just pure, I don't know. So it took me a little bit more time than the last time to fully get back on my feet and be ready for what we were doing again. Yeah, no, it wasn't great, gotta say. And so I sat back up again after a while, and I prepared. It was like, this time's the time, Charles. You gotta get it through. You gotta get it through, or else I may die. But I wasn't leaving the studio without my septum piercing. I had suffered for this. So, thank God, third time was the charm. He really tried, and finally, thank God it went through, and he screwed the little ball on, and just like grabbed my shoulders, like, we did it. And Michaela and I high-fived. It was a lovely time. I looked in the mirror. Thank God it was straight. If I had gone to the mirror and it had been like this absolutely awful crooked septum, I would have just probably gone to the afterlife right then and there. But thank God it's super straight and I love it and everything. My whole feeling right here, there was just nothing. It was so numb for maybe half the day, and then the pain set in, but thankfully it didn't deter me from enjoying the concert. I don't know how you couldn't enjoy a Hey Rosetta concert despite if you were in pain. I certainly enjoyed it, and yeah, it was fine. I paid $60 for it and got all the equipment that I needed. equipment. It was just like a little spray bottle of saline solution, and yeah, I was out of there.
This is Michaela. Hi! I just had to go through that! It was traumatic! That was a bad experience. Oh my.
My piercing healed. It healed in the time frame that I was supposed to, 6 to 8 weeks. It healed fine, but it was just so sore for the first 2 weeks because I had been shaken around and everything. It had been through so much more than it was supposed to have been through. Drinking from cups was a no because I couldn't have anything touching anywhere on my nose. I had to drink everything through a straw. My boyfriend flew across the country to see me a week after, and I was like, don't touch my face. Don't, dude, please, don't, no kisses. Please kiss me like you would kiss maybe a sad baby bird that you found on the ground that had hit a window. Like, oh. And yeah, needless to say, Michaela did not get her nose pierced that day. We just walked out of there right after it happened. Actually, it had taken so long. I remember I even asked, how long did this take? And Michaela said, I was timing it. It took an hour and 5 minutes. I was just sitting there like, what? It's supposed to take under 10 minutes. Every YouTube vlog that I had watched about it, it took under 10 minutes and everyone walked out of there a little sore, but like, most of their morning hadn't been taken up by it. Oh, and if you're wondering what happened with my parents, I'm a ditz. I'm gonna say that about myself. I think I'm intelligent, but sometimes I'm just pure ditz. The first time they Skyped me, I forgot to flip it up. And my mom just immediately, within a second of picking it, went, what is that? What is on your, oh God. I was just sitting there, just thinking, what the hell am I doing? After all this thought process that I've put into hiding this thing. I don't know how many times in the beginning it was referred to as my cow ring, but yeah, that happened. But despite the bullying, I got through it, and it's still with me. I'm pretty happy with it, and I don't know, that's the end of my story. So yeah, if you are scared of needles, if you don't like blood, if anything that would deter you from getting the piercing that you want, just know that I had all those things and I had the worst experience and I still came out of there with my piercing. So if I can do it, honestly, you can do it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it all the way through. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to subscribe or whatever, like it, I don't know. Do what you want. Yeah, I just hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a lovely day. And of course, if you're not having a lovely day, I hope it gets better, because who doesn't want to have a lovely day? I send you all the love and the hugs and whatnot to you. Thank you for watching.